Wrestling fans around the corner around the world. I'm Dan Marty along with
Mr. USA Hall of the 2006 Hall of Famer, Tony Atlas, and the chicken wing.
We want to make sure you're well fed, Tony.
You already do.
But as usual, for the great fans that give us a little love, a little TLC, a little support, Tony, we need to send out not just a small, but a very big thank you.
Thank you so very much. You know, y'all very special to me. I normally never get interrupted when I'm eating my dinner, but y'all are so special, interrupt.
All right, Tony, we want to send out a big-time special thank you to... All right, Tony, I don't know if this one is near you down in Midlothian, Virginia. Some call her Smokey. Sometimes I mess up and call her Stony. Yeah. Tina Rathar. She got the Macho Man Randy Savage T-shirt
but she
bundle.
couldn't get a better T-shirt. Macho Man was probably one of the most excited wrestler to come along in the WWE in many, many years.
But even though you are a Virginia man, you don't know where Midlothian is.
No.
All right,
I'm from, it depends on what area. See, I was born in the Allegheny Mountains.
Yeah.
And you got the Allegheny Mountains.
Yeah.
You got the Shenandoah Valley.
Yeah.
You got the Tidewater area. So Virginia is a very interesting state because it got mountains, valleys, and beaches.
All right.
It's one of the very few states that everything is in.
All right. Well, we also want to send out thanks to Trent Stewart in Anniston, Alabama. Tony, I'm sure you'll be talking to him, a huge fan of yours. We've got Stephen Bolin, Claremont, California. He loved the big Kamala that you drew. Jason Manos, Keene, New Hampshire. He got the Vader 11x14.
I've been to Keene, New Hampshire.
Well, Blake Fobion, Las Cruces, New Mexico, a place I'd love to visit. Got the
Las Cruces, I've been there too.
You've been to Las Cruces?
Yep, I used to wrestle out of Albuquerque way back in the day with Ricky Romero.
Well, he got
was a big star during that time.
He got the Nikki Cross 11x14. Our friend Dennis Stanko Jr., Youngstown, Ohio, he got a Nikki Cross 11x14 autograph photo bundle. We want to send out thanks to Scott Shanafelt, Salem, Illinois. He got the AJ Style T-shirt bundle. And Eddie Ojeda in Salinas, California.
Yes.
He got the Undisputed Era 11x14 photo signed by all 4 members. Thanks to our friends from NXT for sending that along, Tony. So, as we like to tell the fans at home, every time they make a purchase, whether it be big, whether it be small, it helps keeps the lights on so we can do these shows.
Yes, it is.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, there. Well, and also the good thing about Boston Wrestling is, due because of this virus or the coronavirus stuff, a lot of people is not able to get out and talk to wrestlers and meet us like they did in the past. But luckily for Boston Wrestling, you can always tune in here. You can hear stories and things. We just lost a good friend, Anima, and so you get some first-hand report about what type of person Anima War Warrior were. And so it's good to kind of keep you in light of things, even though it's like football. You can't go to the arenas anymore, but at least you can enjoy the game on television. And you can enjoy wrestling right here with Boston Wrestling on a regular basis.
You might not get the in-ring action like you're accustomed to, but at least we bring you the history, the memories, the legends, and some laughs.
Exactly.
But we need to implore you, fans, as 2020 comes to a close, we're not immune from the hard times that have hit the rest of the world. So for every fan watching, whether you are a millionaire, whether you are close to homeless in the street, we need to ask you to help us out. Simply share, share, share. Whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on Twitter, no matter what social media platforms you use, share the links to these videos. The more fans that we have watching, the more legends we're going to be able to help keep working, like Tony, like Marty Jannetty, like Brutus Beefcake, and a lot of the others that we're working on having coming in here. Also, if you're in wrestling Facebook groups, if you're on Reddit or any of the other popular wrestling websites, share. I don't know what's going to happen with that guy by the time this video is.
He's going to win 2020.
Share the links to these videos, fans, so we can keep the lights on and the legends working. Again, if you tune in, and well, this is going to probably wind up airing after the vote, Tony, but there's always 2021, I guess. Also, fans, as you note, if you watch the premieres, if you join us during the fun, during the chats that we have, and sometimes they get wild, especially when all the men that are chasing Maria Davis around, the chat. That's a different story for a different time.
And I'm going to give the people a good laugh, and you're going to love this, because this will compliment you.
Yeah.
You know, Tony Atlas didn't go too far in school. So one day, Dan Marella came up to my house up in Maine, and I showed him this picture. And he said, Tony, that's a great picture. The only problem is you misspelled it. So,
Well,
Dad, I fixed it.
You fixed it?
I fixed it.
Well, I'm going to have to double check.
I fixed it, see? I fixed it. I misspelled Simba.
I'm
Now,
a-
many times I wrote Saba Simba, and Dad came and took one look at it. Said, it's a great picture, Tony. The only problem is you misspelled Simba, but you spell it right down here. But you remember that day?
I do remember that
So,
day.
so I'm giving compliment. So if anybody buy a print of this from Dan Marella, the Saba Simba print, or anything, always remember that the spelling, Dan Marella, Tony Atlas is responsible for the drawing. Dan Marella is responsible for the spelling.
I feel like an elementary school teacher.
Yeah.
But fans, if you're watching the live chats, again, the super chat helps out. That gray button with the S, the $sign symbol underneath. Anything you can do to help that way helps. The holiday season is coming. We've
Yes,
got
it
eBay.
is.
We got merchandise galore, as you can see everywhere. Not only that, but baby,
Yes.
I don't even want this to go. But look at this. You want to talk about a great collectible for your man cave. You talk about one of a kind. Tony Atlas made this beautiful drawing of Hawk and Animal, the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, 18 by 24 inches. Tony, this is exquisite.
Thank you.
I thought the Kamala one you did was great. That's long gone, unfortunately. Now we have this beautiful drawing available. It's one of only one. Tony, I don't even want to know how many hours it took for you to draw this.
And I want to thank all you fans here. Show that again, Ann.
All right.
I want to thank all you fans out there, because here lately, the only way that I've been able to make a living is by doing artwork for all you wonderful fans out there. And so Dan Marella have been having me to draw stuff for him, for the fans. So y'all want anything drawn, if you want me to draw you with Hulk Hogan, with President Trump, with anybody, just contact Boston Wrestling, and I'll be more than glad to do it.
And the good news is, if you don't have the money for an original, along with the Kamala one this holiday season, we're also going to have a much smaller 11 by 17 print. This one would be a little bit easier maybe to fit on the wall.
Yes.
This one will have more than one of. So I also want to implore you, along with the eBay, another great way you can help keep the lights on and keep these shows rolling is Patreon. You're talking about not dozens, over 100 videos at this point. You get early ad-free access to every episode of Wrestling Insiders we produce. We have an exclusive Marty Jannetty episode you can't even get on YouTube. We have our exclusive studio shoot interview DVD collection, acclaimed around the world, that's aired even on the Howard Stern Show. And again, more than anything, you help keep legends working for the price of a cup of coffee over at Starbucks.
Or a chicken wing.
At patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Again, along with the great merchandise we have on eBay, you can get the link to our eBay store in the description box below. We have the Wwe T-Shirt Fundraiser going on. Thanks to our great friends in Stamford, Connecticut. For the regular price of a T-shirt on WWE Shop, we give you not just the shirt, but we also give you a mystery autograph photo, a WWE Cup, and again, like you just heard earlier with our friend Tina and our other friends earlier in this video, we're going to give you an on-air shout-out. We're going to give you a thank you on the show for helping us create the show.
That's right.
So there's a lot of ways you can help.
That's right. And another thing, every time I meet one of y'all, I'm going to grab you and give you a great big old kiss.
Well, that definitely won't help if that's the case. All right. All right, wrestling fans, again, thank you for tuning in. Again, please share. That's the most important thing. If you can get involved with the Patreon and the merchandise, that's a huge help too. Our goal is to keep Wrestling Legends working. And Tony, I've told you, we're working on a big announcement. We're stuck as far as live events go, but we really want to up the ante for the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. We have some very special things we're working on we're going to tell you about soon. Right now, fans, we've talked enough. Stand by. A brand new episode of Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, is next.
this is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there, live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestling Insiders at your house. I'm Dan Marty, along with my partner in crime, the chicken wing loving, Reno Chastain hustling, Mr. USA Tony Atlas.
How
Tony,
you all doing today?
I tell you, you've never met a free meal you didn't like.
No, I didn't. I never met a paid meal, free meal. My mother had an old saying, a little bit of something is better than a whole lot of nothing.
There you go.
So a couple of chicken wings is better than a T-bone steak or a lobster roll. As long as you got something to eat, be thankful you got a little something.
Now you're talking. It's all about gratitude. And Tony, it is the month of November now. We're
Oh,
closing
yeah.
in on Thanksgiving, which I know is one of your favorites, which I'm sure we'll talk about as we get a little closer to Turkey Day.
Yeah, Turkey Day is just around the corner. I can see the roast turkey now with the cranberry sauce. And I like a little lasagna around, you know, that.
Yeah.
Around the holidays too.
Yeah.
It just add to it. You have your lasagna, you got your green, you got your dressing, you got your stuffing, and you got all them different pies too. Many, many good pies, you know.
Poontang?
I don't know. Up here, y'all
Poontang
eat
pie?
pumpkin pie up
Yeah.
here. I'm from Virginia. We eat sweet potato pie.
But not poontang.
Yep, but with sweet potato pie, you have to try sweet potato pie.
I've never had that.
You get some sweet potato pie, put a little whipped cream on the top of it, and good googa mooga.
Good booga booga?
No, not booga booga. Good googa mooga. Googa mooga.
Good googa mooga?
Googa mooga.
Googa mooga?
Googa mooga.
Googa mooga.
You got soul, brother.
Well, you know what? I've been told that a time or two in my life,
Yeah.
Tony. Again, we welcome all of our great fans, the regulars that join us for the premiere, your neighbor, Slick Rick B up in Maine, Maria Davis,
Oh, wow.
Smokey, Stoney, Tina, Tania, whatever your true name is, Lawson, Ken, all of the great Kevins that join us. I don't know what it is about the name Kevin, but the Kevins love to come and join us during these programs.
Maine, I would say from Massachusetts all back.
Yeah.
You call that New England.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the New England area. So Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Same type of great New England people that really, really
Well,
enjoy
these people
holiday.
are from all over the country, all over the
Exactly.
world, Tony.
Exactly. But the good thing about
Yeah.
New England is that we get to enjoy all 4 seasons.
Right.
You know, we get winter, we get the color, changing the color of the trees around Thanksgiving and Halloween. We get the snow. When I was in Virginia, it was very, very hard to enjoy all 4 seasons because we never got snow. And if you watch on television, all the programs that show Christmas program, it's snow in them programs. You always have a white Christmas in New England. In Virginia, we didn't always, to get a white Christmas in like once every 5 years, you get a white Christmas. So them are the things that I enjoy about living in New England. I still love Virginia a lot, but the main, to me, New England is a spice of life. You get a little bit of everything. I would hate to live in California or Florida at Christmas time and have to put ornament on a palm tree.
Yeah.
It just don't.
I wouldn't get used to that, I don't
Yeah,
think.
that's kind of take some get used to it to put light bulb ornaments on a palm tree. But we live in the greatest country of the world. People got a choice to live wherever they want to live. My daughter moved. I got one daughter live in Hawaii, another one live in Alabama, and I even got a stepdaughter live in Germany, of all places.
So they're all over the place.
Tony Atlas is everywhere, everywhere. So everywhere you go,
And those
you
are just the ones you know of.
Yes, you got. Dad, you give away my secret.
All right, Tony, we don't want to do that. As we are approaching the holiday season, maybe we'll have to break out our Christmas garb like we wore before. You have that nice Christmas coat that
I
you
still got
wore
it.
in the past.
I'm still got it. I'm just waiting for you to tell me when I can wear it again.
I have my Grinch sweatshirt that
That's
I wear,
right.
which brings out my
I got my
true-
Santa Claus T-shirt.
See,
That's
we got
right.
a lot of goodies we're going to break out for the holiday season.
Yep.
But Tony, this episode a little bit more on the somber side. I wish we could have done this episode maybe a few weeks ago, but our taping schedule, as we've let the fans know,
Right.
we have to tape multiple episodes at a time.
Yes.
We lost a dear friend, a man that you made a tremendous drawing of, road warrior animal, Joe Lauriniatis.
Excuse me, fam, but you know how it is when we got some good chicken wings. We wouldn't say
Yeah.
finger licking good.
don't-
Y'all just saw that in action. Finger licking good. My condolences goes out to Anima. He was pretty much in the same predicament that I am, where his wife was not totally well. And she was so dependent on him in many ways. Like my wife had a stroke and she totally depended on me. So my condolences go out to his brother, Johnny Lauriniatis, and goes out to his family and everybody, a member of the Lauriniatis family. I mean, it's very hard to lose a loved one. I almost lost my wife a year ago. Luckily for me, she survived the stroke. Didn't leave her in the best condition, but at least she survived. Poor Anima didn't survive. I went through the same hurt when S.D. Jones passed away, when Nikolai Volkov, King Kong Bundy. And this is just the fact of life. A lot of us guys from the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, you know, our time is not as long here on this planet as we would like for it to be. And Anima was a young man. He was younger than me. So it's kind of sad to see such a young, wonderful guy, great Christian guy, treat everybody like gold. I'm sure some of you fans have met him. He never had a bad word to say about anybody. Just a great individual. He kept me and his partner Hawk from fighting one time. In fact, I saw the match. Yeah, I saw the match on YouTube probably about a month before he passed away. And me and Hawk, we both were very cocky back in the day. So,
Now, what promotion was this in?
AWA.
For Vern Gagne.
For Vern Gagne.
Okay.
And there's a picture of me and Hawk, and we nose just like this. Just like this. And Hawk challenged me, I challenged him. So Anima tell Hawk from the outside ring, tag me in, brother, tag me in. So they tag in, I tag in Anima. Anima come to me and say, brother, I'm much bigger, much stronger than you, but I like you. Just calm down.
Animal said that to you?
Yeah, he said just.
Was he bigger and stronger than you?
At that time.
Really?
Yeah, he was
Wow.
he was a brute. I mean, his young lady, he was quite a brute. And he said, you cannot, and my partner at that time was Jumpy Jim Bronzell. He said, together you cannot beat us. I can't beat Anima and Hawk together. He said, I'm bigger than you, and we're stronger than you as a team. He wasn't talking about him as an individual. He said, just calm down. He said, we make this work. He said, I will talk to him when I get to the dressing room. Sure enough, we went on with the match, go back to the dressing room. He pulled me and Hawk together. He talked to both of us. So not only he was a great wrestler, great person, he was a great peacemaker and negotiator. Otherwise, me and Hawk would have gotten a fight in the ring. And that is not good for the fans.
What was the issue with you and Hawk?
We just want to see who could whoop who ass.
Were you a little gassed up?
We
or
were
what,
a little,
Tom?
well, we both were. Come on, man. Hey, man. Hey,
Hey, it was the mid-'80s.
You
That's
know, it was the
all right.
mid-'80s. I was filling my oaks. He was filling his oaks. And when the War Warrior first came on the scene, they would just throw guys around.
Yes.
That's what they give
And
it.
they had
So
no
Hawk-
problem doing it.
So Hawk tried to push me around.
Wrong guy.
I put the brakes on him. He didn't like that. So he tried again. I put the brakes on him again. And I let him know, I said, brother, we could go. I mean, you could go. Where Anima saw that we was going to get ready to go to. So Anima didn't want us messing up the show. Because we started fighting and everything. The fans, somebody got hurt, one of the fans. There was a lot of fans, and back in them days, they didn't have the protection like they do now. You know, I think they just had a little rope to protect us from the...
You guys went into the crowd. That could have been
exactly.
some serious injuries.
Right, and you got little kids and elderly people sitting there at ringside. So the last thing he wanted to do is for this to break out. So he came in the ring and said, look, you're a big, strong guy. He said, but we are bigger and stronger. Which means if you fight one of us, you're going to have to fight both of us.
And I don't think Brunzell was going to help.
Bronzell was on it. Bronzell was glad to get out of the ring. I'm not putting him down or nothing, but I saw his eyes. I mean, Hawk was just mopping up the floor with him. He wouldn't sell nothing for him. He wouldn't take no bunts for him. He wouldn't do no spots. He just threw Brunzell around like a rag doll. You know, Brunzell was a good wrestler, a good amateur, but when you talk about Hawk, you talk about a 6'4", 285-pound, juiced up, halfway out of his freaking mind. You know, when he goes, ooh, what a rush. He just, what a rush, you know. And on steroids too, you know, they were like a freaking wild animal or something in the ring. And he was always like an animal was always the one to keep the balance. He was the leader, kept the balance. And without Animal, I think Hawk would have never made it. Because
really?
his attitude was like, I could whoop anybody's ass type attitude.
Well, I know, and you're talking very, very early in their careers. You know, there was that whole crew of guys from the Minneapolis area, big, badass guys, in addition to the Road
David
Warriors.
Shooks was one of them, too.
Rick Rude,
That's
John
right.
Nord, Barry Darsow.
That's right.
Kurt Hennig kind of broke in because of his dad. But, I
Right.
mean, there was that group of Minnesota boys that were
That was
just
rough.
all tough guys.
Yeah.
But when...
The Minnesota Wrecking Crew, Ole and Gene.
Yeah, I remember, I believe, though, if I remember correctly, Animal went down to Georgia at first as a single, and he didn't find much success.
Right.
Hawk went up to, I think, either Winnipeg or Calgary,
Right.
and he didn't find much success. So they were making no money. They went back to that bar that they all worked at in Minnesota.
Right.
And I think Ole Anderson was up, whether it be for a show or visiting someone at home, and he saw the two of them together, and he said, you know what, let's make them a tag team. He brought them down to Georgia, and it created magic.
Yeah.
If not the greatest tag team of all time, certainly one of the greatest tag teams of all time.
They saved the trend, and they've been imitated but never duplicated for many, many years. You take Axe Demolition, pretty much went down the same road but didn't come up with the same result because they were the first of that gimmick. Nobody ever did that before, you know, with the shoulder pad, with the big spike and the painted face. You know, when you see these two guys in the ring, it was scary looking. You know, it was a mixture of punk rock and football and bikers.
Yeah.
It was all like wrapped up into one character. And there have been many people to try to imitate. I'm one of the Barbarian and Warlord.
Barbarian, yeah.
Yeah, they tried the same thing. And Axe, the Demolition, they tried the same thing, but nobody ever had the impact with it the way that Animal and Hawk did.
You know, I didn't realize their run together really wasn't the longest, where they only came together in slightly the mid-'80s, you know? You
Right.
would have thought with the legacy they left behind, maybe they had a longer run together. But I guess maybe the best analogy you could give to younger fans that weren't around for their peak would be maybe they were like a tag team version almost of Goldberg. They'd come in, they'd kick ass very, 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 very quickly. They wouldn't sell much. They'd almost never
much, nothing at all.
They'd almost never do jobs.
Never, you can't.
And
because
the
once
problem-
you beat them, it's over.
Right.
That's the problem with that type of. It's kind of like King Kong. Once he fell off the Empire State Building, the movie ended. I mean, there was no getting up from that. It was the same thing with Animal Hawk. So in the older days, guys like Bruiser Brody, Abdullah the Butcher, they wouldn't stay in no one area long enough. So they kept themselves alive by doing that. If they have a little bit more knowledge of the business, I think they would have lasted longer because Abdullah would only stay in the States for 6 months. Then he go somewhere else for 6 months. Bruiser Brody, God rest his soul, he was the same way. Bruiser would come in, he went AWA for probably about 3 or 4 months. Then he's gone after 2 or 3 months, and he's in Puerto Rico or he's in Japan. And that way he kept himself, you keep the gimmick going. But the longer you stay somewhere, and they were young kids at the time, we got to
Right.
realize, so they didn't really knew how to protect.
They were new to the business.
Right, they didn't know how to protect their image. Where more veteran guys like Abdul the Butcher and Bruiser Brody knew how to protect their gimmick by not overstaying your welcome.
Is it fair to say that it was difficult to bring them into a territory where they'd want to go through everybody, eat them alive, destroy them, leave
Well, a lot
nothing,
of
almost
wrestlers-
like you with the chicken wings, they'd
Well-
leave nothing but the bones,
well,
then they'd move on to the next territory.
If they have done that, they would last a lot longer. You see, you can only do that for a certain length of time. And what Abdul do, it takes, back in the olden days before they had cable television, it took the promoter at least 3 months to get you over with the people. So they were safe the first 3 months because the promoter, he's promoting them. Then the next 3 months, the promoter get his return. They draw the promoter money. Now, why they peak? The promoter, they would pull themselves away from the people. And that create that itch when we're going to see them again. But they have to get out of there to once they get here, you got to jump the ship while you're right here. And that way you can come out and then you can come back. You could go and but you got to come back. But you have to put some space in between it. Where when they settled in, like I say, they was young and they didn't really understand how to use that gimmick. When they was young, they get in territory and they figure they could stay there for 2 or 3 years. You can't. Because like you said,
There's no one left to work with.
I mean, how many times you going to beat a same person? And you know, even from our wrestlers today, you know that great wrestler, great friend, but when John Cena left the WWE, nobody missed him because he was there for so long.
Right.
He overstayed his welcome. Hulk Hogan, when he left the WWF, nobody missed him because he was there for so long that it was nothing that he could do to follow what he already had done. And whereas you take other guys, like The Undertaker, the reason The Undertaker's career lasted so long, you only see him once a year. Or maybe, how many times? 10 at the most?
Well, for the past,
if you saw him once a month.
For the past decade, it's only been a couple of times a year. Yeah.
And that's what, he was special. He never overstood his welcome. Whereas with Cena, on the other hand, every night. Once a book been read, as I learned earlier, it get old quick. No matter how great you are, no matter how fantastic you look, people like to see a change. You know, at one time, that's why movie stars were so big in the olden days, like John Wayne and Katharine Hepburn and all them people, because they made a movie maybe once a year.
Yeah.
So you got to see John Wayne once a year. You didn't see John Wayne, like if you put John Wayne on a zip con, his career would not have lasted that long because you're able to see him on a regular basis. People love entertainment and they will love you. You know, people still love Hulk Hogan, but they want to see something new. The two smartest wrestlers of the day's Earl, I would say, is Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. The Rock moved himself out of it before he became, you know.
He didn't overstay his welcome.
Exactly, didn't overstay his welcome. And Stone Cold did the same thing. When Stone Cold was right at the peak of his career, he went and started doing other things. Which right now, Vince could bring Stone Cold back, and he'd
be the biggest star on the
company. He's the biggest star on the card right off the bat because they have not seen him in such a long time. He left that impression on them, but before the impression got boring or overdone, he knew when to get out of it while the impression, but not stay away long. It's so long where he'd be forgotten about.
Well, let me ask you this, Tony. Why do you think, where there was such anticipation to see the Legion of Doom come to WWF to feud with Demolition, that their 2 runs in the company, neither one of them I would label a giant success? Why do you think that they didn't find the success they had in NWA, WCW, AWA, and other places?
Well, see, a lot of it go behind the office, too.
Yeah.
It's like, let's say, for example, the promoter come up and says, look, Tony, I need you to do me a favor. Hulk Hogan going to be a big star. We're going to make a lot of money with Hogan. We need you to somehow get him over without hurting yourself. And if it's hard for the man writing the check to do business with you, there was a lot of great wrestlers that was a good draw, like Mil Mascaras was a good draw, but I hear from a promoter he was hard to do business with. Tony Atlas was a good draw, but he was unreliable. So it's always sometimes, not all the time, but I would say 70% of the time, there's an underland about this person that the promoter know about, the boys know about, but not the fans. So, you know, when I wrote my book, Too Much Too Soon, if you notice, I took responsibility for everything that happened to me because the fans saw me, you know, I've got a great body, he's big and strong, he's a good draw, he's fairly nice looking. This guy should be champion. Where the promoters look and say, yeah, he got all these physical aspects. But when he get angry, he just leave. I had a bad temper. I got mad. I would say, screw this, and I'm out the door. Well, this promoter got me booked for the next day. He's looking at his book going, what the hell I'm gonna do?
What am I gonna do?
Yeah, you know, you running this problem now. You know, I got money. Yeah, I don't pay for his plane ticket. I don't pay for his hotel. I pay for his rental car. I don't got all this money riding on this guy, and he just walked out the freaking door. What in the hell I'm gonna do? So, because you're a good draw, they would bring you back. They try with you again. Then the same thing happened again. Eventually, they said, well, we're gonna have to ease on out of this. It's kind of like being married to a person and your spouse go and cheat on you, and then you forgive him, you take him back, he or she go cheat on you again. Eventually you have to come and realize, I love him, I love her, I love him. He's a great father, great lover, great in every perspective, except he's not faithful. So do I want to put up with his unfaithfulness? I'm going to lose a great guy. I'm going to lose a great looking girl physically, but I'm going to have peace of mind. So a lot of time a promoter would look for peace of mind. So I think the answer to your question probably not on the surface, you know, the physical aspects of it. Because like you said, it was a hell of a draw, great gimmick, great everything. There was something, I don't know for sure, there was something on the underland where promoters saw something that scared them. You know, something that scared me. Just like when Vince had me booked for, with me and SD Jones. SD spoke about this at the Hall of Fame, if you remember. And we were going to be, me and SD was supposed to be the first black world champion. We was going to beat Saito and Mr. Fuji for the belt, you know? And it was going to be at the Spectrum. They did the old 76 gimmick where I was wrestling and I got the juice and they beat the hell out of me. They come to the ring, they take me back to the dressing room. SD said, I'll fight them both myself. So SD started looking good for the first, you know, 2 or 3 minutes on the mat, and then they got SD down, and they pounded SD. They pounded SD. I wrapped the bandage around my head, leave the blood on the face, let the people see the blood. I come out, the old 76 gimmick, cleared the ring. Next month, they booked the show, Tony Atlas and SD Jones versus Saito and Fuji. The billing sold out. From what I hear from Captain Lou Albano, there were so many people that they could have sold the billing out twice.
Wow.
SD showed up. Saito showed up. No Tony. At the same time, they was talking to the Moondog. They was in Japan at the time. And the reason they were going to put the belt on me, from what I hear from Captain Lou, they were going to give the belt with me and SD. We were going to keep the belt while the Moondog was in Japan. Then they were going to bring the Moondogs back to take the belt off of us, and SD were going to drop the fall. And at the same time, you can ask Backlund, they were already doing little matches with me and Backlund.
To tease you and Backlund.
Me and Backlund.
Yeah.
So they wanted to take me for the title, to fight Backlund for the title. So not only did I screw SD out of being world tag team champion, I screwed myself out of being world champion. You see, because the promoter.
And imagine how different your life might be right now.
They had to change their direction. Once I walked out on them, they had to change their direction. They already had spent millions and you know, probably back then, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, pushing this thing and putting me over. You know that if you look back, I whooped everything in the WWE prior to that. Slaughter, I beat. You can't name one wrestler during that time I didn't beat.
Hogan.
Okay? One minute I beat Hogan, the next minute Hogan is the top star. You know, nobody, Don Morocco, Fuji, Saito, the Samoan. I beat everybody.
Vaziri.
I beat everybody in the territory. There was nobody left to beat but Backlund. He was the last of the Mohegan. So they was pushing me towards Backlund. I was beating people on TV, what, in 2 minutes?
Yeah.
I beat Bundy. All of them. Everybody got in the ring. Tony Atlas over, Tony Atlas over, Tony Atlas over. So they was going with me. Johnny Ross, no matter who it was, Tony's over, Tony's over, no matter who it was. You know?
And that's, I think, the recipe.
Even in Japan, Andre didn't beat me.
Wow.
It was a DQ, but Andre put me over. My hand got raised with Andre the Giant. Nobody went over Tony Atlas, you know? Then the walkout. And once the walkout happened, they had to reevaluate. I came back and told them I would never do it again. But how can you tell a person to take that chance again?
There was a walkout to get walked on. Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah, over a pair of damn shoes. Over some shoes. Can you imagine that? Threw away the WWF World title to get walked on by a freaking brawl in, I shouldn't say that about her because I was a grown man, so she, and I was older than her. I mean, I was in charge of my career, so I can't blame her.
You were an adult.
That's right. But that's probably, getting back to the subject, probably what happened with Animated Hawk.
Well, they didn't like to do jobs.
Well,
and I think that's a problem, too. At some point, you got to do the job.
Yeah, you have to. First, they make you, but then you have to make other people. You have to make other people to keep it going.
If you look back at their first run in WWF, they came into a monster push in the summer of 1990.
Yeah.
They worked everybody around the circuit through SummerSlam 91. They gave them the belts from the Nasty Boys at Madison Square Garden,
Right.
SummerSlam 91. They held them into early 92 when the sex and the steroid scandals broke. Hawk popped one of the tests. So they had to get the titles off of them leading into WrestleMania because they were suspended.
Yeah.
It was I don't think the match was ever televised, but they dropped the titles to DiBiase and Mike Rotundo as IRS. Then they brought Paul Ellering back to try and help them, and they gave them little Rocco the doll,
Right.
almost like the puppet that we have down here at the studio. Then comes SummerSlam 92. They still went over on Money Inc. in front of 80,000 people at Wembley Stadium, but Hawk walked on the company. Animal stayed. They were going to put Animal together with Crush is the new Legion of Doom, and Hawk bolted the company, which wasn't good. It screwed Joe.
Yeah, and they can't bring Hawk back because he would do it again.
Well, they did wind up bringing the Legion of Doom back together as a team in '97.
But not at that level.
No, they didn't get the same push, and here was the problem, Tony. Even though it was a new era, you had the Monday Night Wars going on where these same guys were in not just squash matches, but competitive matches each week. They still didn't want to do the jobs.
Yeah.
You had to do the job at some point when you...
You have to give back.
You have to give back.
You can't always take and never give. And you know, not to get into it, not to change the subject, but I told you that a year or so back about a certain girl wrestler. That when she walked out on him, that she would never get that position again. And so far she hasn't. Old Snoop Dogg cousin there, what's her name? Remember I told you that?
Right.
Remember I told you that? Remember I told you that?
Well,
because it's not the company. It's hard for a company to make the same investment, and once you lose trust, first of all, is a hard thing to attain. To attain somebody's trust, it's a hard thing. Even when I married my wife, Monica, it was 10 years or more before my wife trusted me when I went out of town. Because, well, she went to a couple of shows with me, and she saw how the women react to celebrity. And saw, right, no, they're not rats. We were the rats because they were just with us. We were with 10 times the women they were.
Fair enough.
We were the real rats, if you want to look at it. We were the dog, you know. And we lied, cheat, and steal, and do whatever we want to get in this girl britches. And once we done that, see you later, baby. And we in the next town doing the same shit all over. Where what we call this girl a rat, she waiting for us to come back. She wait a month Fellas come back. The next day, we and somebody
had
else.
another one, right.
We had another one the next day. Then we called them the rats. You know, it's like the cock calling the cattle black. You know, we were worse than what the people we was called the name to. But once my wife saw how, and then she saw a lot of cheating too. She saw guys that she knew they wives, and she see them taking women up to their room. She saw that.
She wasn't stupid.
And I'm not gonna call nobody name. My wife saw that in 2009 and 2008.
Wow, really? Wow.
See?
Well,
and she just left the table talking to the guy's wife.
Yeah.
And my wife said, I feel so funny around these wives knowing what their husbands are doing on the road. And then the next day at breakfast, the husband is sitting there with the wife and the kids and my wife.
Imagine if she lived at that hotel with you and Rocky Johnson, what she would have thought.
Well, speaking of Rocky Johnson, I'll tell y'all a quick story. Cost me $500, this story. Vince McMahon Sr. got mad at all the wrestlers. We used to do TV taping in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And the next day was in Hamburg, Pennsylvania, which is only 26 miles away. Mm-hmm. We were supposed to be at TV at 12 o'clock, because they taped all day back in them days, you know? It was all day taping. And then they would put the tape in these great reels. You dealing with Tony Roman, these big, they were great big old tapes. And they had to give them to Scholar and other promoters, like Monsoon had to take the tape to the station to get played, you know? They had to take it to these different places to get paid. So they did all these little squash matches all day long. Then they tape it, this tape go here, this tape. So it'd be like 10, 15 tapes that went to all different places. But Vince Sr. said, y'all guys are only 26 miles away from the town. There's no reason for anybody to show up late for TV. He said, from now on, anybody show up late from TV is gonna be fined, $500. So I went, me and Sika and SD, we went to the gym. I got back from the gym. I went at 7 o'clock in the morning. I was back at the hotel at 9:30. I had breakfast with Alpha and Sika. And I said, well, brother, I got to go and grab my bag. I said, I got to meet Rocket at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock come around, no Rocket. 12 o'clock, now I know we're late, no Rocket. Finally at 12:30, Rocket comes, Rocket wife come out of the door. So I said, where's Rocket? She said, well, ain't he at the restaurant? And I go, no, I said, he probably went to one of the wrestlers' rooms. Well, what Rocket did, he got a hotel room for him and his wife and Dwayne. Dwayne was there at that time. And I was riding with Rocket. And they had these rooms where they had the twin room, you know what I'm talking about? It's a door in between the two rooms. Yeah. So what Rocket would do when his wife leave out the door, Rocket would send his wife to get something. While she go to get that for Rocket, he would go into the next room. But you don't have to come outside the door.
Adjoining room.
Adjoining room, that's what you call it, right. So what happened, I think somebody, the only one was left in the room was Dwayne. So I think what Dwayne did, he saw the door and he locked it from Rocket's side. Now Rocket is stuck in his girlfriend's room. And his wife is standing out front of his room talking to me. He can't come out of her room. He can't come through the devil. So I finally, somebody said, look, Tony. So I look, Rocket's peeking through the curtain. Go, get over there. Go over there. Get over there. I go, oh, okay. So I said, hey, let's go up to the diner there. I said, let's walk to the office and see if Rocky's there. And
so you saved Rocky in his evening with the rat before the event.
Yes.
But you got fined for it.
Yeah. So anyway, me and his wife, Anna was her name, I think. Anna. Yeah. We started walking toward the front office. It was a place called the George Washington. That's the same place where that girl got killed.
The snooker incident.
The snooker incident happened the same way.
Nancy Argentino.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep. So me and her is walking up. As soon as she turned her back to walk up, Rocket come out. Hey, where you guys been? I've been looking all over for you. And she said, oh, there you go. Look it. So then I get in the car, Rocket and Anna is sitting there, and me and Dwayne is in the back. And I look back, and here this girl, his girlfriend, is right behind us, following, right behind us. So when you get there, Vince Sr., he had a thing with these silver dollars.
He was jingling his quarters?
When he's mad, hold that head down and look at you on the top. He had them glasses, wear them glasses. But like this, he go. He wore them on his nose, like that here. That's Vince Sr. And he just, them quarters are just going to town. Just like that. So Rocky get out and said, oh, there go Vince. He's hot. He said, don't worry about it. I will explain things to him. So I said, okay. So I walked by Vince. I didn't say nothing. I said, how you doing, Mr. McMahon? You know, I just went on the dressing room, did my matches. When the show was over, Vince said, Tony, not Vince Jr., Vince Sr., said, Tony, come here for a minute. He said, look, I gave you a second chance by letting you come back here. He said, you told me you weren't going to fuck up no more. I said, what did I do? He said, I'm not going to fan Rocky. I'm going to fan you because if you want to go to the gym, go earlier. If you want to go to the gym, go earlier. I said, me and Sika, we went to the gym at 7 in the morning. We was at the gym at 7. He said, why was you at the gym so long? I said, I was back in the hotel about 9:30. I said, I had to wait for Rocky. He said, well, you should have called around one of the boys. What Rocky did, went and told Vince Sr. that the reason he was late because he had to wait for me to come from the gym.
Even though he was pounding some rat while his son was in the next room. Well, I think that says a lot about him, at least at that point in his life.
Yep.
Not much.
But if you ever notice, after they took the belt off of me and Rocky, they never brought him back. They couldn't trust him. You think they knew? Well, they know that they couldn't trust him because he did things to screw me, but in the long run, he also screwed himself. Another time, when Vince first brought me back, when he very first brought me back, he was talking to me about, he said, well, do you need some time off to go get your car? You know you need a car in this business, Tony. And Rocket must have overheard him. He come running up and said, oh, he don't have to do that since we're going to be partners now. He could ride with me, and I got 2 cars. 2 cars. Yeah. He could use one of the cars. And there's a second story to that second car. You got to hear that part, too. Old Rocket dropped me off at the hotel and said, I'll come back. We were in New Haven, and we supposed to wrestle in, not New Haven, New Haven, and we were going to wrestle in Hartford, which is what, 40-mile trip?
Not even.
So Rocket's supposed to pick me up, take me show. I'm in the lobby waiting for Rocket, never showed up. Never showed up. So I had to catch a cab to the building, you know. So I don't get in trouble. I was late. I got chewed out for it. Now about the second car. S.D. Jones needed a car. So S.D. Jones, Rocky went to him and said, hey, you want to buy this car? So I got this extra car here. The car he told Vince that I could use. He said, I got 2 cars. So S.D. needed a car real bad. So S.D. said, yes. S.D. saved his money, paid Rocky for the car. S.D. had a car for about 2 weeks. Then Rick Montel came back from Canada. Because what Rick would do, he would leave his car with somebody, and due to the fact that Rocky was Canadian like him, he figured, hey, what better person to look after my car? To say. But he did. And then when SD went to go get the car registered, they told him he couldn't register. So the SD said, well, this is the guy that sold it to me. And Rocky gave his real name. He said, no, this car is not registered that name. He said, whose name is it? He said, Rick Montel. So then Rick came back and got his car. Now SD is out of money, out of a car. And so SD's wife asked Rocky, said, Rocky, you know how bad we need the money. Why don't you give SD his money back so that he could get his car back? Rocky said, well, it's an expensive lesson to learn.
Wow.
That was Rocky.
You think that's why it was, other than that
They
one
knew him.
brief appearance in 1997, he never came back?
He did that to too many people. Too many people. And then a lot of people he did it to end up in the office.
Oh.
In the office. Like he sold Cowboy Bill Watts a dead horse.
A dead horse?
Well, he found these papers somewhere
Yeah.
of this racehorse, you know, that was real famous. And he liked horses anyway. And he told Bill that he was going to leave Louisiana and go to Florida. He told Bill that he wanted to sell this horse. So Bill looked, you know, went to see about the horse. And the guy said, oh, yeah, he was a great horse. He was a great runner, ran a lot of races. And Bill wanted to use him for stud, you know, for being a stud. So Rocky sold that horse. And then Bill go to see about the horse. Guy said, oh, yeah. He said, can I see him? He said, no, you can't see him. He said, well, he said, he's dead. Another time we was in Cairo, Egypt, and they was playing reggae music, which I know nothing about because I'm a country western fan, and we had to do this reggae dance.
You had to do the dance.
Yeah, all of us, because they was giving away a gold necklace, and a gold bracelet, 18 karat gold. That was the prize. This is Egypt now. I mean, where the money is big. So Rocky saw what the gifts were. So Rocky slucked away and went over and started talking to the judges. So Rocky come out dancing. He couldn't dance. Rocky had to be the worst dancer you ever seen in your life.
He wasn't a good dancer.
Oh, he was the shits. But anyway, everybody, the guy would go behind us and say who to win. When he went behind SD, the place went nuts. Because SD is from the West Indies, so he knew how to do all this reggae dancing, right?
Yeah.
Rocky went and talked to the judge. They said, but our winner is Rocky Johnson. And so we said, how in the hell are they going to give that to Rocky? You know? Mm-hmm. So then the narrator said, we want to thank Rocky Johnson. And he said, he's from Cairo. He's one of us. So SD said, that's some of the bitch. That's some of the bitch. So he tell Rocky, he said, Rocky, I want you to say hello to all of your people from, in their language. Rocky said, well, my mom didn't teach me that much. He told me his mother was from there to get the bracelet.
Yeah.
Pissed SD off, because SD really, he wanted it.
He wanted it.
He wanted it. And Rocky ripped behind his back and told him that. And I guess all these stories over the years caught up with him. It all came up. I met Quick Draw Rick McGraw. I rode to the town with Rocky Johnson and Maniac Mark Lewin. Mark, is that how you say it?
Mark Lewin.
Mark Lewin. And they left me in the parking lot. That was the first time Rocky left me. I was a rookie then in Florida, my first second day there. They left me at the building so I could miss the show the next day. And I'm looking, and this van is going back and forth, a van. You know, a lot of boys had these vans back in the day, back and forth.
Fuckmobiles. Fuckmobiles.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Going back and forth. And I'm looking at this van going back and forth like this. All of a sudden it stopped. Only went on for a couple of minutes. And the girl get out, she get in her car, she leave. Quick Draw Rick McGraw got out. He said, hey, what you still doing here? I said, I'm waiting for Rocket and Mark Lewin. He said, I just saw them guys leave. He said, they've been gone for 30 minutes now, Tony. He said, come on, I'll give you a ride. Quick Draw Rick McGraw, if he was libertarian, said that was the first time he did it to me.
Well, Tony, interesting
So
memories of Rocky.
I guess his ways, Vince did not want to put up with that.
Yeah.
So they're getting back to the Road Warrior.
Yeah, it is a tribute to Animal after all.
Right, yeah, but getting back to the Road Warrior, Animal was a great guy. Like I tell you at the beginning of this thing, Animal wanted to fight, Hawk wanted to fight me. Animal come in, calm thing down. Animal said, we're here to make money, not to see who the toughest, you know? And the same thing, and finally at the end, Hawk screwed Animal.
He did.
at the end.
It's after SummerSlam '92, right? I don't think Hawk ever came back from England for quite a while, if I remember
Right.
how the story went. But you know, I didn't get to know Hawk all that well. We did have Joe here in the MWF in
He was
the
a
past.
maniac.
And you know, the sad thing is, Tony, if it wasn't
But I
for-
was too, so I can't knock him.
there you go.
Yeah.
If due to coronavirus, if you remember, we were supposed to have our big Back to the 80s event at Memorial Hall down the street back on April 11th. Animal was supposed to be one of the featured stars with
Yeah.
us. When the event was going to take place on November 14th, Animal was supposed to be with us, although unfortunately that wouldn't have happened because he had passed.
Right.
I'll say this, Tony, to show maybe the type of guy that he was. You know, he wanted to command a certain fee when he had his appearances, and it was more than a company of our size could afford. So we worked out a deal for him to come in at a lesser rate.
Right.
And he became almost an investor in the event.
Right.
Based upon how many tickets we sold, he
Exactly.
could earn significantly more money
Yeah.
than the guarantee.
Yeah.
So, and you know that happens very rarely on independent wrestling.
Exactly.
So I think that says a lot about him. It made me feel good that he trusted me enough to do it.
Yeah.
But you
Because
know,
he don't do that for everybody.
right.
But he trusted you. And like I said, that team would have never really been what it were as long as it were if it was left up to Hawk.
He was the stick and glue that kept it together. All right, Tony, before we go, any final memories of Road Warrior Animal? I don't know if you ever had a chance to travel with him, dine with him, share a hotel with him, anything about Animal that the fans might not know that they might get an amusement out of here as we remember the man.
Animal was a type of person that kneeled for God and stood for the flag. He was a true Christian American, great family man, loved his family, loved his wife with all that was within him, never did anything for himself. He was always the last person on his list. And many times I wrote it, all he talked about was his wife, was his family. Never about himself. You've been around it. He never bragged about himself. That he was very complimentary to everybody. I remember in my Hall of Fame speech, I mentioned God. Animal came up to me teary-eyed. He said, "Thank you for that." He said, "So many of us do not give enough thanks to God." So he was a godly man, a good man, a great man, a loving, caring father, great husband, great friend, loved the fans, and very soft, easygoing, never caused no problem, and a very hard businessman, which is, in this business you have to be, otherwise
He
you get
took the
taken advantage
business
of.
serious,
He took-
very serious.
Very serious.
And I can respect that.
You got to respect
Yes.
him on the business level. A lot of people may not like him on the business level, but on a personal level, he's one of the best people I've met in my life.
Really?
And he come from, I think his whole family is that way, because John Lauriniatis, his brother.
And
when
I
he-
like John an awful lot, too, and a lot of people don't.
You know, I used to call him Mr. Johnny.
Did
Mr.
you?
Johnny.
Why is that?
I respected him.
Oh, okay.
Because he was always, he told me when I very first day there, he said, "Tony, don't lie to me and I won't lie to you." And we had that type of relationship.
He was, in every interaction we ever had with that man,
What a-
and this is when he was in WWE Talent
Yeah.
Relations, honest and upfront.
Honest. He said, "You honest with me, I'm honest with you." He was the one that got my ring for me.
Did he?
Yeah. Nobody was getting rings.
Oh,
Think
the
about
rings
it.
were his idea?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
This is the first edition. Nobody got rings before they got
They
plaques.
got the plaque, right.
Right. They gave me the plaques at the Hall of Fame. They didn't give me no ring.
Wasn't that nice?
Johnny the one that got the boy, him and Chief J. Strongbow. Because Chief was going making all these tournaments and stuff, and he saw all these football players all there.
Yeah, and they had the
yeah,
ring,
yeah.
yeah.
So Chief went and talked to him about, you should get the boys a ring. Well, anyway, they were going to do that the following year. Johnny went and talked to him and got us the ring in 2006. In 2005, there was no rings.
That's right, because I was there with Vizieri. out in Los Angeles.
There
the
was
Iron
no
Sheik.
rings.
He
There
didn't
was-
get a ring at that point. He just had the plaque. That's right.
But everybody from 2006 up
They
got
got-
a
yeah.
ring because of Chief J. Strombo and John Lauriniatis.
Well, unbelievable how it all ties together. I know, Tony, we're going to miss Road Warrior Animal. When we finally get to the point in life when we can have normal events again, when we can have our Back to the 80s WrestleFest, which has been rescheduled again for April 3rd of next year, it's going to be a little tough not having Animal with us because
Yes,
he
it
was
is.
one of the featured stars. Again, I want to note to the fans at home, if you are a Road Warriors fan and you love to support our Wrestling Insider shows, Tony has made this drawing. It's one of only one. We're going to put it up on eBay for you to take a look at, check out. Maybe you want it for your wrestling collection. I know
And I
someone...
wish there was somewhere where all the vendors and promoters in the world that really know and like this guy. WWE, if you're listening, you also do a benefit show for his wife. You know she's ill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's she going to do? What is that woman? She's already ill. What is that woman going to do now without him?
Well, we can only hope. We can only hope. But I have a feeling that Hawk and Animal and all of our other brothers up in heaven are having a heck of a good time up there right about
Animal's
now.
worrying about his wife. If he's in heaven, no matter where he's at, heaven or wherever,
He's still with her, though, I think.
I don't
That's-
think he
that-
could
you don't
rest.
think
No,
that's
because I
spirit?
rode with him many times.
Yeah.
Many times I rode with this guy, and that's all he talking about. You got to get home to his wife. She's not ill. She's ill. She's this. He
But I
worried.
mean, I think his spirit is with her.
Well, it needs more than the spirit to pay the bills.
All right.
Unfortunately, it's like, I mean, it's nice. You know, it's very nice. You know, it's very nice. It's kind of like when you get down and out. A lot of people come to you and say, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope things get better." Another guy comes to you and says, "What can I help you with, Tony?" A Dan Morella coming when time get hard and all my shows got canceled. Dan Morella said, "How can I help you out, buddy? How can I help you out?" Another promoter said, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear about your trouble. See you later." That don't pay the bills.
No.
Somebody
I do
should,
what I can.
Somebody should get together and do a fundraising for that lady, you know, to help with the medical bill. She probably gonna lose her house and everything. Who gonna pay?
I think Joe was healthy enough financially. I
No,
don't know.
you don't know. You
All
don't
right,
know
well, no,
these
you're right. I
dead
don't.
These dead gum, low down, good for nothing, knucklehead bill collector. They would find some type of way to take that from that woman that she can't defend herself. I know these rascals. I know them like I went through that. Let me tell you how they try to get me.
How'd they try to get you, Tom?
You remember the coronavirus first hit?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're going to be excused for the month of April and May. You're being excused. You cannot be convicted. Oh, wow, great. Little bird went up my head. Said, "Tony, don't spend the mortgage money. Put it away. See what happens." I got no bill for April in the mail. May, nothing came through the mail in May. June, I get a bill. On the bill was April and May.
3 months, yeah. But yeah, you were smart enough to save.
3 months. My mortgage is $1,200 a month. These people want almost $4,000 from me. Old Tony, though, that gummy, let me tell you something, youngin'. I had the money.
You had it saved in some little cookie jar up on Atlas Estates.
Something told me, don't trust them.
And you were right.
And I don't know how many people have fell for that. That they fell for that. Right now in Maine, most of the homes in Maine that being sold are people that live out of Maine. Because of coronavirus, all these office workers, they want to get out the city where it's so congested, and they want to go to the country because they're not going to the office no more anyway.
Right.
So they want to give them a country home where they can set in their country home because everything is done over the computer now anyway.
Right.
They had it on the news the other day right here in Maine that the housing business in Maine is booming.
Booming.
But out-of-towners are banned up all the houses. If you live in Maine, it's hard for a Mainer to buy a house now. They wanted my house.
I heard that Susan Collins wanted you.
That woman's uglier than me.
She said she took a little tango lesson.
Oh, no.
And she wanted to take the shirt off and do a little tangoing on your chest.
Oh, no.
With Olympia Snow.
I don't like... I like Olympia Snow.
You'd let Olympia walk on.
Yeah, I like her. She did a lot for me. I'm not a fan of Susan Collins.
All right, well, we don't know how that election turned out. Fans, we're running out of time on this program
Well, I
again.
hope she lost.
If you're watching the premiere again, please, we beg of you, use the super chat. Like Tony's talking about, we've all hit hard times. We know everybody can't afford $1 million. If everybody that's watching tonight had $1, chip it in. It helps us keep Tony working. It helps us. I can't wait till the day comes, Tony, when we have so many fans that we're able to bring you to the studio every week. Imagine how nice that would be.
If you let me strip, I get you a lot of fans.
No, then they'd never tune in again. They'd
Oh,
never
they
tune
see
in
the
again.
Alabama Black
Although I
Snake.
heard, well, you know, back what Tina Turner said back in the 70s.
You ain't never seen the Alabama Black Snake.
No, and I hope to keep it that way. For the Hall of Fame and Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, I'm Dan Marty. Don't forget, Thursday night at 9 p.m., it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll Look at Wrestling in the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insider's Party with Marty. Then Friday night after SmackDown at 10 o'clock, it's the
Marty.
man with the, you talk about the Thunderdome in WWE. Who knows what's going on the top of his dome? John Cena Sr. is back for Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays fan. Until next time, Dan Marty, Tony Atlas, stay healthy, be well. Good night.
You know what I call Marty?
What? Wrestling fans, the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive is here. Coronavirus has been the Grinch in preventing a live wrestling event from taking place in 2020. But November and December will bring you an unbelievable series of live television tapings, raffles, merchandise, and cyber autograph signings, including 2 all-inclusive VIP packages you're not going to want to miss out on. We'll discuss a little later in this video. Let's take a look at this all-star lineup of superstars headed your way for the holiday season. Recent WWE NXT Cruiserweight Champion Lio Rush, who's going to be co-hosting Wrestling Insider's Rush Hour, the miniseries, kicks off our 2020 efforts Thursday, November the 5th. Leo was the first to open his heart to our efforts to keep Paul Bearer's name alive and put smiles on kids' faces. Then on Saturday night, November the 14th, WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas will be with us again, signing autographs, meeting, greeting online, as well as having his renowned artwork available. Friday night, November the 20th, Sunday night, November the 22nd, during our Survivor Series watch-along, former Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion Marty Jannetty will be with us live. When it comes to Marty, expect the unexpected. Early December explodes with brand new superstars coming to MWF Studios for the very first time on Friday night, December the 4th, during WWE SmackDown. Join former Intercontinental Champion and Nation of Domination member Savio Vega with rumors that the martial arts expert Kwang may join us as well. On Saturday, December the 5th, batten down the hatches, former WWE and WCW Tag Team Champions Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs, the Nasty Boys, will be live in studio for which should be an extremely memorable taping and cyber autograph signing. Great chance to get one of the top tag teams of the 80s and 90s together. Sunday, December the 6th, we're going to have an NXT TakeOver watch-along with WWE Hall of Famer Bushwhacker Luke. From 1988 through 1996, Luke had a memorable run in WWE with a career spanning the globe since the 60s. Friday night, December the 11th, one of the most powerful superstars in the history of professional wrestling, the Warlord, joins us in studio, looking back at his big run in the WWF from 1988 through 1992. Saturday night, December the 12th, join us for a rare appearance by a superstar that was undefeated in the WWF for nearly 2 years, Native American Tatanka. We cap it off Sunday, December the 13th with one of the future stars of professional wrestling, having competed here in Boston Wrestling MWF, more recently in the Ring of Honor Pure Title Tournament, Wheeler Yuta. John Cena Sr. is going to be taking part in a live cyber signing as well and is working on recruiting even more superstars to join our efforts to update Santa Claus's GPS to find every kid's house in 2020. You never know who or what to expect as we work our magic to create smiles on kids' faces around the globe, around the clock. VIP packages are available now. Early bird pricing through November the 15th. It's limited to 50 fans. The VIP Elite package, that comes with one autograph photo of all 11 featured superstars, plus a bonus Quang autographed 8x10. It also includes an autographed Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive 2020 11x17 poster, and a raffle ticket to win a package of WWE NXT 11x14 autographed posters, thanks to our friends at NXT down in Orlando. We also have a standard VIP package that includes one autographed photo of each of our 11 featured superstars, plus a raffle ticket to win a limited edition Drew McIntyre, one of only 36 WrestleMania 36 autographed 8x10 photo from our friends at WWE. If you're not interested in an all-inclusive VIP package, don't worry. Each superstar will be available for individual autographs. A mail order is also available for your own personal items. Don't worry, if you can't join us for all of the live cyber autograph signings that are going to be streaming online, your 8x10 photo will still be signed and mailed to your home. If you get a VIP package after a superstar's signing is already taking place, again, don't worry, they're going to sign plenty for the entire holiday season. Those that purchase individual photos, they'll be shipped right after the signing takes place. The VIP packages will be shipped in one giant package beginning December the 14th. We continue to miss the late, great Paul Bearer each and every day. His heart of gold continues to shine with our annual Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive efforts, and this year, again, will be no exception. 2020, it's been a rough year for all of us, but get ready for a season of Boston wrestling sports memories and legends while putting smiles on kids' faces. In December, that's what it's all about. VIP packages and individual autographs are available now at bostonwrestling.com.